Hello, guys, gals, non-binary pals, murderous spaceships, bug-eyed monsters, and other. Welcome to the Sci-fi Lab. I'm your host, DJ Squared, and my co-host could not be here today, probably eaten by aforementioned bug-eyed monsters. But with me are some labsters.
Brooke,
Zohar,
and Josh.
And today, we're going to be talking about some of our favorite and least favorite tropes in speculative fiction. So I think Brooke has something they want to start off with.
Okay, so we got our tropes from, tvtropes.org, and one of them is just arm cannon, which is just, it's an arm that's a gun, and I don't think that's what a trope is. It's cool, but it's not a literary trope in my mind. So I think it's dumb that it's on there at all. That's all.
Listen, there are a lot of tropes on the page that you could say that about.
I mean, yeah. Because sometimes the definition gets
it's a general issue I have.
Gross.
tvtropes.org in general.
Mm-hmm. But they do some very good, very thorough work. Yeah. But very thorough.
Frighteningly thorough.
Yeah, if you've ever even been onto tvtropes.org, you know.
Here's one called plant hair. How often is plant hair in science fiction?
Look at some of the examples, because I cannot think of any right now.
Me neither.
Examples. Mostly anime. Poison Ivy counts.
Oh, yeah.
For some reason. But she's like a human with just plant powers, right?
No, her hair does have its own special abilities. It can grow and stuff, and grab you, or at least in some versions.
Does plant hair apply to all hair that can be used to do stuff?
I think that would be something different.
Okay,
but Poison Ivy is plant based.
Because I'm thinking of Medusa from the Inhumans, who also has super duper hair powers, but yeah. I'm pretty sure if you look under H, you'll find hair powers. Yeah, I'm looking at this one, The Needless. I like this a lot because it's about a character that doesn't require the same physical or mental means to survive or remain healthy as humans, and that just makes me think of a lot of superheroes, actually, a lot of comic book characters who just don't need nothing. Yeah. We see Superman eat so rarely.
It's one of his superpowers.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and he takes in so much energy from
he photosynthesizes.
In a way, yeah. Essentially, Martian Manhunter's the same way. We don't see him eat. I don't know what Martians eat, but he doesn't eat either.
Most of them don't need to breathe.
Yeah, no, Superman doesn't need to breathe in space.
The Flash probably doesn't need to breathe. It's moving too fast for the oxygen to actually get in.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know how he breathes, because we see him eat a lot, because he has to
because of the metabolism.
Yeah, because of his metabolism.
So how does he keep oxygen flowing fast enough to move?
That is a wonderful question.
We don't know. No one will ever know.
That trope, the needless, though, just immediately makes me think of Q from Star Trek.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think also brings up, the central question of that trope, which is, what do you do as a being that doesn't need to do anything to survive? If you can just exist, what do you then do?
Okay.
It's just like when people bring in, various immortals, angels and demons and whatever. So what do they do all day? What if angels just protect human beings because they're super bored?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Time travel is one of my favorite, plot devices, tropes, whatever you want to call it. But, yeah, you're just gonna have to be all right, this concept is inherently, really dumb.
Anyway, I was giving Voyager a bunch of leeway, and then I was around season 5, and I was like, wait a second. This is the second episode where they do this every single season. They have at least one episode where a character crash lands a shuttle on a planet and they never get it back and they just leave it. And I'm like, oh, this is our they crash a shuttle on a planet episode and they have to be rescued. And they do it again and again and again. And I'm like, I don't need to see you crash on a planet and be rescued again. I think there was one season where they didn't do it, but I did end up looking it up. But it compensates, because I think there was one season where they did that twice. It happens so much. And yes, there's usually a little more to the story than that. But the fact that the premise of so many stories was our shuttle just crashed on this planet and we have to be rescued was just... So Yeah, we're not here to talk Star Trek too much, but I don't like Voyager.
Let me ask you a quick question, though. When we were talking about time travel a second ago, my favorite movie is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I'm just curious if you've seen it.
I've seen it, but too far long ago, I don't remember it.
Okay, all right. Because, the time travel in that one is extraordinarily fast and loose, but I love that movie.
The only time travel story where I take issue specifically with the time travel mechanics is the original series of Star Trek episode. What is it? It's the one where they go back to like the 50s airbase. I forget exactly what it's called. Tomorrow is Yesterday or something. And like, it's got some really bad time travel mechanics.
It's like, listen. There are no good time travel mechanics. You just have to hand wave them.
Yeah. But that one's exceptionally bad. Because it's like, if we teleport this person from the future back in time, they're going to lose their future memories just because.
Yeah.
So what? Yeah, so what if you're just like...
There's such a huge... That doesn't make any sense.
They would lose their future memories, but like, that would be all of their memories, right? So it's just time travel amnesia.
And I otherwise think the episode's very fun. It's a cool premise. It's
like, if you send somebody back to before they're born, and then you erase all of the memories that they would have in the future, then it's just...
That would be all... then the only things they would remember would be post-time travel, I guess?
Yeah. The issue is, they don't want to change the timeline, but this guy finds out about the Enterprise. So what it is they take the guy who knows about the Enterprise, and as they're time traveling to the future, they teleport him as they pass the point where he found them back to that point in time, and then his memory is reset to that point in time, so he doesn't remember the Enterprise.
That's just hand waving.
The episode is called Tomorrow is Yesterday, and aside from their plot resolution, I think it's a fun episode. But the plot resolution is yikes.
It's like, so you're just gonna rip this man's memories from him? Oh, yes.
I actually found another trope, another very fun one, in my opinion. I think it's fun. It is... give me just a moment. Aliens speaking English. I really like this one because I love all the stories where people just talk. One of my favorites is Mass Effect. If you've played the Mass Effect games, humans coexist with aliens in the Milky Way galaxy, several species of them, and they all speak wonderful, lovely English. The Turians are so good as to speak English with a non-accented American English. It's so great. And then everyone compensates too, like the L Corps. They speak entirely in monotones. They announce their emotions before they start speaking. I love Mass Effect for that. For just all the aliens are cool and they speak English. So don't worry.
Do they never establish that there's any kind of universal translator situation going on?
I don't think so, because Mass Effect takes place like 30 years after humans make contact with aliens.
Intergalactic schools suddenly.
Like intergalactic linguistics.
Britain conquered the galaxy.
Mass Effect is one of my favorite examples.
Well, if they're speaking American English, then America conquered the galaxy.
I think Mass Effect has a really good diversity of like not just alien-like cultures, but like alien appearances too. They're really good about non-humanoid aliens.
Absolutely, I agree with that. Definitely.
Which not a lot of sci-fi is, but the few ones that are good about it, like they're usually really good.
Yeah. Definitely, like, especially as technology has improved, so you can do things without like prosthesis. Or
my favorite example is Stargate, because all the aliens speak English and they never once attempt to explain it ever. And I love it because for the first show, SG-1, their 100th and 200th episodes were both designed to kind of satirize the show and the genre of science fiction. Because it's set in the modern day, and so the premise of the 100th episode is this guy who previously interacted with the top secret Stargate program, and he had his memory wiped, but he's like getting visions of it in like dreams, and he's like slowly remembering it, but he just thinks he's coming up with a story, and so he makes a TV show called Wormhole Extreme, and they're like, you gotta shut this down because it's too close to reality. And so they go to the show, the characters have to go to this show, set of the show to like try to get it shut down, and like they've got like characters being like, I'm out of phase. What does that mean? It says you can go through walls. It's like, then why don't I fall through the ground? And it's just an episode dedicated to like this making a show about science fiction. Anyway, one of the actors is like, why are all the aliens speaking English, right? And it's funny because they have like in-character blooper reels at the end, and so it's like the characters are actors hired to play fake actors. Right? It's
Always love
and then the
that.
200th episode, they go so far out there that they made the whole episode non-canon because
wow,
oh
man,
yeah, because the premise being the show got its own movie, and so they're consulting with the Stargate program, so the movie fits within the parameters of not disclosing the program, but it could be like something they could point to being like, if there's a leak, they're like, oh, it's just from this sci-fi show. It's not a real thing.
The show from the 100th episode gets a movie? Is that what happens?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's called
cool.
Wormhole Extreme.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah, so Wormhole Extreme gets its own movie, but they like the people making the movie talk to like the,
right, and so the
Stargate people.
The characters in the Stargate program. Then the episode is just them pitching their own ideas for a movie about a fictional movie that's ripping off the actual program in the show.
All right then.
That's pretty fantastic.
That's pretty good.
It's really funny. Stargate, it's kind of in terms of like I like it because it's so lighthearted. It never ever takes itself too seriously. Like the characters will be going up against like these huge like galactic villains who like destroy planets, and they're like quipping jokes and stuff. But like I don't know, it's not like Marvel necessarily where it's like I don't know, it is kind of Marvel-esque though, where like you've got your characters and it's like this the villains are very unironic and the characters are very whatever.
Yeah, no, I enjoy that.
The lead character, played by Richard Dean Anderson, he said he had a rule of thumb, which is he doesn't say any technobabble ever, and he got that established because he said, "Don't give me it," and then they wrote it for him. He's like, "I have a rule of thumb. If a line is longer than my thumb, I won't read it."
Oh my lord! Oh, that's wonderful.
And so he never was given any kind of technobabble to read ever.
Nice. That's we stand. All right.
That's spectacular.
That is
so I really like Stargate. The stories are kind of not my favorite, but I think the characters are lovely.
I want to go back to the episode making fun of the show, like making fun of itself, because I think that's a good trope.
Yeah.
What comes to mind
just
is
being super self-aware.
Players,
Yes.
The Last Airbender.
Yes. Ember
Which is,
Island
of course,
Players.
a classic.
It is a classic. It's like one of the best filler episodes of all time because it's just like, oh, do you want to like explain what it is?
That was pretty much just what I was going to say.
Okay.
Oh, what you want me to explain?
Yeah, for those heathens who have never watched Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I saw the first season, and my roommate was like, I have it all at home. I'll bring it after this break," and then I've never seen anything after the first season.
Well, I would recommend going back.
Would recommend,
I
yeah.
want to.
It's really good.
Anyway, with minimal spoilers possible, in the last season of the show, shortly before the finale happens, like right in the middle of a lot of intense stuff going on.
Yeah, I think it was like 5 episodes before the end or something like that.
I think it was 1 episode before the
It might have been. I don't remember.
But wherever it is, it's like really close to the end, and like it's in the middle of all this drama and like big battles going on. And the main characters are undercover, and they have, like, I forget why they go see it, but for some reason they're undercover shortly before shit goes down, and they all go watch a play being made about their own adventure. And the entire time they're heckling the actors and making comments about how they're being portrayed, things they agree with, things that are inaccurate.
It's like some of them are having a grand old time. Some of them have been told that their cosplay of themselves is inaccurate.
I love that. I love when that comes up. People come in and they're like, "You don't look like a real person." I'm like, but I am.
I am in fact
the real person.
The real person.
I love that. I don't know.
It's so great.
It's a very good episode.
It's a very good episode.
It's
just, and it does a very good job of being a series recap without being like a clip show.
Yeah,
that too.
I'd like to say the same thing actually about the beginning of Thor Ragnarok or something like that, where Loki, who's disguised himself as Odin, puts on a play, dramatizing the end of the last movie, which was great because I've never seen Thor 2, so it works.
Don't.
I never saw Thor 1 or 2.
It works. So it works really well, and also Matt Damon is playing Loki in that scene. It is hysterical.
It's so
they bring him in for like 5 that scene. And then he leaves. He never comes back. So that's just
Matt Damon is just there.
He's just in the series. He never has to. I'm sure people were asking him like, Matt, why aren't you in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? He's like, hey, I'll take care of it. And then so now he's all done.
Yeah. And that entire gag just fit within the tone of that movie.
Oh, exactly.
Oh yeah, no, Ragnarok was a masterclass.
You know what? Ragnarok. At the end of Ragnarok, for those of you, I don't know, you may or may not have seen it, or you may not remember, Asgard gets destroyed, and a lot of Asgardians die, and they also die later because Thanos attacks them. So I wonder if Matt Damon's character canonically is alive. I think we should ask the Russo brothers.
That's a good question.
I know it.
Like, okay, but the question is, did the Asgardians kidnap Matt Damon to put on this production, or is Matt Damon actually an Asgardian? Who comes down to Earth?
I would love to answer that question. That's a real question.
So, well, then the question then is: has Marvel ever had a real actor play themselves in the cinema? Do we know that any of our world's actors exist in the MCU? Because we can't assume they kidnapped Matt Damon. We know Matt Damon exists.
That reminds me of a good paradox, because we know that Star Wars exists in the MCU.
That's very true.
Yep.
Because it's referenced in Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that Fury is Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
Oh no!
Did Nick Fury play Mace Windu?
Do the prequels exist in the MCU? Because we know Empire Strikes Back.
That's true.
Do the prequels exist?
That's a good question.
So that's another further question. I guess that's the problem is we keep asking questions like that. But yeah, I like that start of that question.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Yeah. So is there a man who's identical to Nick Fury except he's an actor and has a different name?
I mean, why not?
And went to Morehouse.
Don't worry about it.
Hang on, is it Nick
Fury getting his own movie? What if it's to hunt down some evil clone who's gotten into the movie business?
That's what we have the scrolls for. One of the scrolls copies him and becomes Sam Jackson. That's what we're saying.
I would definitely watch that. A Marvel Samuel L. Jackson versus himself.
No, dude, it's Nick Fury, and he was cloned as an experiment. The clone escaped and decided to become an actor. But also is blackmailing Nick Fury because he knows everything about S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything.
A year from now, Marvel should be like, okay, so no one saw Gemini Man. I don't know. My sister's the only person I've met who, first of all, knows about that movie and is excited to see it because it has Will Smith in it. They'll be like, no one saw Gemini Man, so we'll just do that with Nick Fury. So yes, he was cloned, but his younger clone is back. And now they're gonna fight.
His younger clone is blackmailing him to pay for his college degree.
Absolutely.
Disney, take notes.
I wish there were weirder movies out there. I love a bizarre premise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wish.
I feel like most people enjoy a really bizarre premise.
That's why you start watching international, foreign films and also really indie films.
Mm-hmm.
Since the Atlanta, the science fiction festival is going on, this weekend on it is this weekend, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. 21st,
22nd, whatever. So if you go to that, the short film competition is definitely gonna have some weird shit.
Yes, that's what I like to hear.
I have some hope in that regard, at least about superhero films with Marvel, because Guardians of the Galaxy already started pulling in some more obscure storylines, and then Spider-Verse brought in way more obscure storylines and brought them to the big screen.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely hoping we'll see that with Eternals, because Eternals are very different from other Marvel characters. So hopefully they won't dumb them down too much. Hopefully they'll be nice and weird and spacey.
Definitely,
I'm hoping.
Mm-hmm.
I'm under the general impression that now that Marvel's finished its whole initial plan for Infinity War and Thanos and stuff, now they're whatever.
Can we get back to the experimental movies, please?
Yes, please. When they make that Fantastic Four movie, let's make it nice and weird. I'd like that a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. You just
nice and weird.
That's the only way they'll be able to make it good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I agree.
It's no. It's a superhero movie. You need to make it as weird as possible. That's what we're here for.
You know what? I'd actually like to bring back for a second when we were talking about aliens speaking English earlier. Guardians of the Galaxy is another great example of that, because there are some aliens that do not. They refuse to speak English. Groot does not speak English, but people understand him the same way that they understand Chewbacca. But then, most other aliens in MCU aliens, they all speak English.
Yeah.
And it works out perfectly. Like, Thanos speaks English. That's great. That's great for him to monologue. It's perfect.
Thanos took English in high school specifically so he could monologue dramatically.
He sounds like he took public speaking. Like, that's how he's so well spoken. I appreciate him for that.
If Thanos didn't speak English, how could we hear all of his amazing ideas about the universe?
I cannot take Thanos seriously as a character because of how many memes have been made.
There's
about
so many memes.
No. It's like how with Star Wars memes have taken off, and I can't watch Episode 3 remotely seriously anymore.
Oh yeah, there's no way. There's no way.
Because that's where most of the memes come from. For
all the really good ones. Yeah.
All the memes.
Oh yeah.
All right. Speaking of memes, one of my favorite tropes is clone degeneration. My favorite example is, of course, Paper Jam Dipper from Gravity Falls.
I forgot about that.
You forgot about Paper Jam Dipper? Everything is better. just let Paper Jam Dipper go.
That's great.
Just like you're just cloning a bunch. And one of them comes out wonky. And sometimes it's bad. Sometimes the wonky one tries to destroy everything. Or sometimes it's just Paper Jam Dipper.
Yes, they're Justin Roiland. I think it's Justin Roiland. He has a cartoon. I think it's Roiland. It's I think it's called Cosby House or something like that. Where there's the central character wants a friend, so he clones Bill Cosby, and so the first clone that comes out is just
that did not age well.
No, not at all. I really nothing that edgy YouTube animators have ever made has ever aged well. In the slightest.
No.
All the white people saying racial slurs and those, but it's terrible. But yeah, no, it's the same premise as that, except every 10th Cosby is a super Cosby. He's a genius and has nothing in common with Bill Cosby. But all the ones before that are slowly worse and worse and more degenerate. So even edgy YouTube animation from people who now make shows that are pretty high quality has stuff like that. It even reaches that far, definitely.
Yeah.
Just about clones in general. I've been watching some of my roommates play a very interesting video game about clones called Zenki Zero. It's got some... I don't know if I would necessarily recommend it to everyone because it's got some pretty dark stuff that's handled very directly. So definitely a lot of trigger warnings on that game. But it's very interesting, especially the way it deals with cloning and mechanics and the apocalypse.
Yeah.
And then there's the trope subversion of cloning, where it's the Bugs Bunny thing, where it's just him. He doesn't make clones of himself, but sometimes there's multiple versions.
Yes, absolutely. That happens in SpongeBob a lot. I like that sometimes there will just be more than what. There's one where he just parts of his body. He just another one of him.
Can you reproduce by budding?
Yes, that. That's what I'm talking about. Or when they're talking about the hash slinging slasher, he eats a bowl of popcorn that is just his arms.
Yes.
And he just continues eating it. So yeah.
If you're just cloning parts of yourself, or if you're just moving you're Bugs Bunny, so you're moving so fast you're in multiple places at once, because that's how that works.
I'm kind of surprised they've never done something like that with Patrick, because most sea stars have that ability to, when part of their body gets chopped off, the body that's there regenerates into the body part that gets lopped off regenerates into another organism. And I'm surprised they've never done something like that in SpongeBob, because it's
they might have.
I mean, I've only
there's so many episodes of SpongeBob.
I've seen all of seasons 1 through 4, and after that it's a little sporadic.
Yeah.
After that, they're slightly lower quality.
But is that season 4, and then the original SpongeBob SquarePants movie was right after that? I think.
Right after season 3.
Right after season 3.
That's between season 3 and season 4.
Because the original creator stopped doing it after the movie.
Yes.
And then they did not know that.
Yeah.
They came back for the first hour of the second movie, and the first hour of the second movie is lovely. They brought in the guys from the epic rap battles of history, and they have a part in that movie. It's so bizarre. It's really fun. I enjoy it a lot. The last 20 minutes you can skip, but the first hour is really nice. Yeah, if you're nostalgic for that sort of thing, that sort of fun kind of cartoon comedy. If you like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of nostalgic for old kids shows and movies, the new Invader Zim is totally out there.
Yeah.
It's pretty good though.
Do you like it?
I thoroughly enjoy it.
Okay, all right, because I've been deciding when to eventually get around to watching that.
See, like the original Invader Zim is one of those shows that I just missed. Is the thing.
Sure. Okay.
Like I just never like watched. I just wasn't in my demographic. I wasn't really all that interested when it was on, and then it wasn't on, and I was like 9. So
yeah,
or however old I was. I tried to go back and like actually watch it, and like I'd probably actually like it if I had watched it, back when I was the target demographic. But like now I don't even have the nostalgia to sort of see me through it.
Yeah, I never actually watched it that much. I saw like a little bit of it here and there between channels, and it caught my interest because it has such a unique art style. But like, the art style creeped me out. It scared me. So I didn't actually ever like bother figuring out what it was. But I had this like passive curiosity for it, and so I see the specials out, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's really good," and I was like, "Check it out, I guess." And so I watch it with like basically no context of the show in advance, and I enjoyed it. It was weird. Okay. It's weird. It's definitely not for everyone, but I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Zim was the kind of show that I'm still kind of incredulous it was made at all.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Because, like, listen, early Nickelodeon was a trip.
Yeah,
early Nickelodeon was
the weirdest. A cat dog.
That show was insane. I wasn't allowed to watch Cat Dog.
That's understood. My parents were the same.
Okay, what was up with Courage the Cowardly Dog?
Yeah, what
not Nickelodeon, but that show was like
that was wild. Yeah,
Cartoon Network has some crimes and
it was always on. It gave me so many nightmares.
I remember watching that one. Yeah, like that was freaky.
Like as an adult, I was like, sometimes I'm like, what a weird show, and I go back and rewatch it, and my opinion of it really hasn't changed.
No,
like talk about shows that like, how did this come into existence on like a kids show for children?
Ren and Stimpy, the same. I feel the same way.
Ren and Stimpy.
Horrifying.
What about like what was it? Real Monsters.
Oh yeah, Real Monsters.
Where it's just like, yeah.
A lot of these were just bad to watch.
They were just ugly. Is the thing.
Yeah.
They're just ugly.
Animation was really ugly in the 90s.
Yes.
Also, like, The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack was a really ugly show, but it was also super funny.
Yeah.
Like, if you just listen to that one, just go and listen to it. Just put it in another tab while you're doing things. It's hilarious.
Remaster it as a podcast.
It's just really gross. It's just really gross looking.
That's why I like Chowder a lot. It's
funny, I love Chowder.
But aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah. I love Chowder.
Exactly, yeah.
I love when Chowder breaks the fourth wall.
Yes.
And
when they have all the voice actors there.
Look at what you've done, Chowder. Now the animators have to draw all this fire. And all that stuff, and like when they go puppets and puppet versions.
That too.
That reminds me of Stargate 200, because one of the premises is the actors quit and they're like, what do we do? And like, we get puppet versions of everyone. And that's 10 minutes of the episode where they recreate scenes from the pilot with all of the main cast as puppets.
Yes. Amazing.
Excellent.
I don't know if it's 10 minutes. It's at least 5 minutes, though, of the 200th episode is recreating scenes from the pilot with puppet versions of the main cast.
All right, and now I think we have once again gotten too far afield, so we're going to end it off here. This has been the Sci-Fi Lab. Thanks for